And good morning. Happy Preakness 145 day to everybody. Glad you're listening here today at the races. We're live at Pimlico. Preakness Day is here. What a big monster 12 race card. We have all stake races. First time, post time is 11 o'clock. We are on the turf today. Preakness is race 11. There's Ashley Mayo out there on the jockey's porch. We have a big packed full show of lots of good videos and interviews. Ashley, how are you? Happy Preakness Day. You're looking like $1 million out there, and I'm sure you have lots of great knowledge and insight and some winners. You had that nice Ann Merriman horse that you gave out yesterday, Little Skiff. So happy Preakness Day, and how was your Friday?
Friday was decent. It could have been a little bit better, but like you mentioned, a 19-to-1 shot helped things. But happy Preakness Day to you, too. Obviously, we couldn't ask for better weather. You can see how bright it is behind me. Beautiful weather. It was chilly this morning, but it started to warm up, and it looks like we have a fast main track and a good turf course, so can't beat that.
All right, good stuff. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about the Pimlico Special yesterday, the historic Grade 3 Pimlico Special. The track was a little tricky yesterday, Ashley. It was all closers the first half of the card, then the track changed to fast, and it was fast for the Pimlico Special. Harper's first ride got to the rail. Owendale dragged Johnny V up in the second going into that clubhouse turn, and they kind of went by themselves all the way around there. Harper's first ride was on the rail turning for home, but Owendale, the graded stakes winner, was bearing down on him with the Hall of Famer Johnny V, but just could not get by. Angel Cruz gets the big win for Claudio Gonzalez. Harper's first ride, the 4-year-old Maryland-bred son of Painter. Let's check out the stretch call with Dave Robin in the Grade 3 Pimlico Special yesterday.
A quarter to go at Pimlico, and a real tussle there with Owendale on the outside. They're shoulder to shoulder for the final furlong and a half of the Pimlico Special. Harper's first ride, game as can be, driving on the inside, and so is Owendale on the outside. They're 5 lengths clear as Tenfold tries to unwind toward the center of the track, but Harper's first ride, Ultra Game, kicks away now from Owendale. Harper's first ride, and Angel Cruz to win the Pimlico Special.
Wow, so a big upset there. Owendale was 3-5. Harper's first ride gets the money in the Grade 3 Pimlico Special, a $13 winner. The late pick 5 paid over $5,500. The pick 6 paid well for multiple winning tickets yesterday. We have a nice carryover today in the pick 6. But your thoughts on the Maryland-bred upsetting the Pimlico Special yesterday, Ashley?
Well, nice exacta box for you. I know you really liked the 9 Harper's first ride. You mentioned if this horse was on top, coming into the stretch could be a big, competitor in there. And I think looking at the throwdown, Owendale usually kind of rates a little bit more, but on paper there wasn't a lot of pace, so I think Johnny V made the right call to put Owendale in the race earlier than usual. It just happened to be that Harper's first ride had plenty left. Saw the tail swishing a little bit, but that horse was not going to be denied of the win. Very impressive.
All right, so congratulations to Claudio Gonzalez, MCA Racing Stable. Congratulations to Sagamore Farm. They bred the 4-year-old son of Painter. Harper's first ride, now a Grade 3 winner in the Pimlico Special. Cordmaker, the Maryland bred, he was a good third. Last year's winner, Tenfold, he rallied to be a good fourth. So that was all yesterday. We had a nice big handle yesterday. Ashley, looking forward to another record-setting Preakness Day today. Let's get right to it. Yesterday morning, both your favorites for Preakness 145, Authentic and Art Collector, they trained very well yesterday morning. Now, this morning, Saturday morning, the only Preakness horse to train, the only horse to train, period, this morning. Track was only open 5 to 6 for Preakness horses. Art Collector, who's going to be one of the favorites. Art Collector had a nice jog once the wrong way this morning with the Baltimore native Annie Finney in the saddle. He went out about 5:45 this morning. He looked perfect. He looked like he was having fun out there with a nice jog. Well, let's check out Authentic training yesterday morning here at Pimlico. He was well in hand. He was very strong, very eager. Look at this here, Ashley. Looks like he wants to run off with his rider coming down the stretch.
Yeah, he definitely was feeling good yesterday morning. We were talking about the colder temps, but you see right there, he kind of got the tail swish and started to pick it up, but his exercise rider really had to rein him in. So it looks like all systems are a go coming out of that big win in the Derby.
All right, well, Bob Baffert, the Hall of Fame trainer, he's looking to break all the records in the Preakness. He's won the Triple Crown twice in the last 5 years. Here's what Baffert has to say about his favorite in Preakness 145, Authentic.
Authentic, he's more the spirited end. He's like a keg of dynamite. He came off the van like just really just on it. And but they're both doing really well, and they went to the track today. 1,000 words. He did a little gallop canter or whatever you want to call it. Looked great. It was pretty muddy out there, so we weren't going to do much with him. And the Authentic, he just jogged because he just worked a couple days ago. So usually walk him one day and jog him. He's a really late foal. He's really maturing. I can see he's really starting to fill out now, and I think he looks better now than he did before the Kentucky Derby.
All right, so there's Authentic, and Baffert was talking about his other horse he has in the Preakness, 1,000 Words, who's 6-1 morning line, coming off a big win at Dalmar back in August. So your thoughts on both Baffert runners here in Preakness 145, Ashley?
Well, they're certainly both quirky horses. Obviously, 1,000 Words having to scratch out of the Kentucky Derby when he flipped in the paddock. But when they were paddock schooling the other day, I thought both of them are really well behaved. We mentioned Authentic was feeling good yesterday, and Bob Baffert even said himself, this horse is just always ready to go, a stick of dynamite, and hopefully he might have a dynamite performance once again. But I think both of them, they have their own quirks. They've been maturing, and I'm actually excited to see 1,000 Words because I've been on the fence about him, and we'll see how he acts today because I think that's going to be a big part of how he runs.
Of course, 1,000 Words, sired by Pioneer of the Nile, the sire of the Triple Crown winner, American Pharaoh. All right, so that's Baffert talking about Authentic and 1,000 Words. Art Collector, 5-2 morning line. Art Collector opened up as your 4-5 favorite yesterday when Preakness wagering opened. I believe he's even money right now. I think Authentic will still go off the post-time favorite, but Art Collector's trained phenomenally well all week here at Pimlico. Let's check out Art Collector with a strong gallop yesterday morning. Annie Finney, the exercise rider, said he was feeling very frisky. He looked sharp here. Ashley, he's looked sharp all week long here at Pimlico. He had a little jog here this morning. Last Preakness horse I can remember training Preakness morning was Big Brown when he won the Preakness back in 2008. But look at Art Collector here with a big, strong gallop yesterday.
Just love the way he's moving. It's kind of effortlessly. I love that his ears were kind of going all over the place. But for the most part, they're pricked forward. He just looks like he's loving the surface here. And he's a horse that I think, a lot of people are on. And you mentioned about the early money. I mean, I think it's going to change as well. I do think Authentic will go off as the post-time favorite, but I have to think Art Collector is going to be second choice.
And the Pimlico Special Preakness double wheel pays. It's paying about $48, I believe, to Art Collector, paying about $49 to Authentic. Art Collector's young trainer, Thomas Drury, a Kentucky guy. He's been getting rave reviews by Marty McGee, and a lot of people saying a lot of good things about him. Here's what Drury had to say about his Bernardini colt, Art Collector.
I wish I had some bubble wrap right now just to put him in for the next 24 hours. He seemed like he was really good this morning. The track was a little wet on top, but he just seemed like he kind of skipped over it. And I certainly don't see any excuses at this point. It seems like our horse is on his game. Well, the Preakness saved the day for us. Had the Preakness not been there and not been available, then it would have been a major letdown at the Derby. But knowing that you had this kind of a race 4 weeks later, not only were we able to turn the page, but we needed to be focusing on how we wanted to get here. So it was, we had a couple of minutes to feel sorry for ourselves, and then it was on to the next one.
All right, well, trainer Thomas Drury, he's my kind of guy, saying Preakness saved the day, and well, he's got a nice Bernardini colt. Art Collector won the Bluegrass. He went wire to wire last out in the Ellis Park Derby. Your thoughts on Art Collector? You think the jockey Brian Hernandez? Well, we'll see how the rail's playing. It was good yesterday in the Pimlico Special. It was slow early, but then it got fast late. Art Collector is breaking on the inside. He's the main speed on the inside. He might be going right to the front on the rail, Ashley.
Yeah, I have to think that's what they're going to do. I mean, you don't want to take anything away from a horse and change the strategy just because it's a big race. You want to give your horse the best shot of winning, and he has early foot. He's shown that in his last couple starts, and I mean, he's impressive in the sense that he has triple-digit buyer numbers, and he has several of them. That stands out to me, and for me, I think the big thing is he's been improving with each start. Earlier on in his career, I didn't follow him as much, and now he's just getting good at the great time.
All right, so Art Collector, Authentic, going to be your favorites for race 11, Preakness 145. We'll be on a fast track all afternoon. So that's all coming up later on. Let's get to the gambling stuff. Nice carryover in the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. That's going to start race 6 today. Race 6 kicks off the Pick 6. Race 5 is the Grade 3 Miss Preakness. Race 6 is the Grade 2 Dinner Party Stakes, going a mile and a 16th on the turf course. That kicks off the Pick 6. There's the carryover. Nice number, a little over 32,000. It's mandatory payout day today for the Pick 6 and the Pick 5 and the Super High 5. Today's the final day of this short fall meet here at Pimlico. So the Pick 6 is going to be well played, and you're going to go after it, Ashley. You have a ticket for it today.
Yeah, I'm going to try to beef up my ticket. Each day I've been here, I've been, putting a little bit more money on the ticket, and it's Preakness Day after all with some great stakes races, so I wanted to have some coverage. So no singles today, Stan.
All right, well, good stuff. Well, we'll check out your ticket when we get to race 6. Let's show you the track and weather conditions. Main track looks beautiful. It'll be fast. And, the first 5 races yesterday were closers, but then it evened out. We started having some speed horses and a closer. Harper's first ride went right to the front on the rail and went wire to wire and pulled off the upset. So we'll check out the track and see how it's playing today. The weather today is going to be phenomenal. Supposed to get up to the mid-60s. I think the weather at Preakness time supposed to be around 62. Beautiful fall weather for horse racing. So, and we're on the turf. We're on the turf today. Turf rated yielding, correct, Eric? Okay, so there'll be a little give in the turf today. It's rated yielding, so it'll be a true test for some true turf horses today, Ashley.
Yeah, it's changed. I think earlier it was listed as good, and
Yes.
I think we'll see how it kind of plays as the day goes on. I think that's a big part of it, right? Having that first turf race. We've been off the turf the last 2 days, and just to give these horses an idea, I think that first turf race is going to be indicative of how the rest of the card will go on the grass.
All right, well, let's get right to it. All stake races. Race 1, the Salima for 2-year-old fillies, the historic Salima. This race has produced a bunch of good ones, including Sharing, last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf winner. Sharing won the Salima before she went on to Breeders' Cup victory. So 2 turns here on a yielding turf course. We kick off the rolling super high 5 in race 1, low 15% takeout. And that super high 5, we have every race with 7 or more. Also, race 1 kicks off the popular early pick 5. Mandatory payout on the early pick 5 with that low 12% takeout. I have tickets today for both pick 5s. Let's check out my early pick 5. You can study all of our tickets and picks for today. Race analysis on the website, Pimlico.com, underneath the handicapping section. Also keep up with all the latest Preakness news, with all the press releases going out there at Pimlico.com. Lots of great coverage from our media relations department this week. So here's my ticket, $36 play. I'm 6 deep here in the Salima. Looking for a little price here in race 1. My single is going to come race 2, Juliet Foxtrot, 7-5 in the grade 3 Gallarette. I think she gets a nice ground-saving trip with Florent Giroux, so I single on Juliet Foxtrot in the Gallarette. Race 3, I'm deep there. I go 4 deep there. In race 3, my top pick is the 5, Bye Bye Jay at 4-1 with Joe Bravo aboard. Race 4 is the Hilltop. I'm 3 deep there. My top pick, a 10-1 shot. The 6, Secret Time, a German import here for trainer Arnaud Delacour. Gets first-time Lasix, gets Victor Carrasco. A hunch play that this might be a nice German-bred filly here for Delacour. So I have the 6 on top, Secret Time, at a big price, a 2 chart. I also like in the 7, Vigilante's Way for Shug McGahee there in the Hilltop. And then race 5, I have a single there in race 5. That's the grade 3 Miss Preakness. My single, the 5, Mundane Call at 7-5 for trainer Brad Cox. Let's check out the opener here. Ashley, the Salima for 2-year-old fillies. My top pick, the 4, Domain Expertise. Let's check out our picks here. Race 1, I go with the 4 on top. You like the 2. Let's start with the 4, Domain Expertise for Chad Brown. Victor Carrasco on this 2-year-old daughter of Kitten's Joy. A very useful debut, early September, Saratoga. Nice maiden special weight, going 2 turns on the turf. Big 8-horse field. Went off one of the favorites that day and had a nice rally to finish second behind. That was a 6-5. A favored editor at large that won that race. So Domain Expertise, a big second and a strong race at Saratoga behind a heavy favorite.
Yeah, I think just missing by half a length, big performance. Then you just look at Chad Brown. Obviously, we know he does well overall, great on the turf. Maiden second time out, he wins at 36%. And I think to enter a maiden in this spot says a lot. Must have some confidence and think that this filly has some capability. Then you see Victor teamed up with him earlier. They had a win so far this year, so keeping him aboard, I think that's a nice move. And maybe she'll break her maiden a $150,000 stake.
All right, so we like the same 4 fillies here. You have the 3, Invincible Gal, on top for Grand Motion. John Velasquez rides this 2-year-old filly, a big maiden special weight score at Saratoga, and then a big second in the sorority at Monmouth last out.
Yeah, that's what stood out to me. You know, she broke her maiden at 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Then next time out, they stretched her out to a mile. They moved her out of Saratoga to Monmouth Park, and she just missed in there. I mean, she was further back than she was in her first race, which maybe was the right move, just knowing that she was going longer. And I think Grand Motion might win this race consecutively. We mentioned Sharing last year, and now this. You see Johnny V gets the call and rode her in her debut, which was the victory. So I think this is my top horse. You know, if I was playing an early ticket, I may even single her.
All right, I'm 6 deep here in this race for the early pick 5, but the 3 is going to be tough. The 3 is well accomplished here for Top Connections. How about the 2, Golden Voiso for Mike Maker? Horacio Caramano is one of our top local riders, rides this 2-year-old filly by Golden Horn. Let's check out the maiden special weight win September 12th down there at Kentucky Downs, going a mile on the turf. It was a big 10-horse field this day. She sat a nice trip, and then she's going to get to the front here in the stretch, and once she gets to the front, she's geared down towards the wire. An easy win with a big 67 by her speed figure. Now she's a little bit on her left lead right here, but that's a kind of a quirky course down there at Kentucky Downs. This filly has a good foundation underneath her. You get Caramanos to give her a nice ground-saving trip. He'll be right there. He'll get a nice stalking trip on the inside. So the 2 Golden Voice going to slip away at a nice 3-4-1 price.
Yeah, similarly to Invincible Gal, stretched out and performed very well in that race at Kentucky Downs. We've talked about how competitive those fields are. We saw it was a big field that day. So having a win like that, I think that says a lot.
All right, so we like the same 4 fillies here in race 1. The Salima to kick off the early pick 5. The 1 here, Fluffy Socks for Chad Brown. Trevor McCarthy, big 3-win day yesterday. And this filly had a nice win at Kentucky Downs in a big 11-horse field to break her maiden. It's Chad Brown, so you have to respect the 1 Fluffy Socks.
Yeah, this is one that I think you certainly have to use. And just kind of looking at the progression, the race at Saratoga, those races are tough. You saw the 3rd-place finisher came back to win, and then last time out, this one put it all together to get the win.
All right, a couple long shots I use in my early pick 5 to 7, Line Dancing in the 8, Tick, 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 Boom. Going to be nice prices here in the Salima. Let's turn the page here. Race 2, the Grade 3 Gallarette going a mile and a 16th on the turf course, rated Yielding. We kick off the early pick 4 here, Filly Mares 3 and up, $150,000 purse. Let's start with the heavy favorite. We both have Juliet Foxtrot on top for Brad Cox. She's been keeping strong company. Let's check out the race 2. Starts ago July 11th at Keeneland in the Grade 1 Jenny Wiley. She was 4-1 in this race. 3rd turning for home. She finishes a real big 3rd behind Rushing Fall, who would come right back to win. Look, this filly just got beat by, a length and a quarter in a Grade 1. Now, she didn't run very well in the race early September at Churchill. Not sure what happened there. She ran okay. Maybe she bounced a little bit. It was a Grade 2. She gets a little bit of a class relief today. Florent Giroux will give her a nice forwardly placed ground-saving trip on the inside. So I single on this filly. We both have her on top.
Yeah, she's still looking for her first win. She's only making her this year, I should say, and she's only making her 4th start. I do like the performance, like you mentioned, the Jenny Wiley Rushing Fall. Very, very talented horse who's just really shined. And I think looking at just the other competition that she's faced throughout her career, I mean, this is in some sense some class relief for her. And I think that's what she needs. And hopefully from here, if she gets the win, she gets some confidence and then can move forward.
All right, I like it. Good stuff. You're making me feel good about my single here on the early pick 5. But the 3, she's on the warpath here for Steve Margolis. Gabe Saez had a stakes winner here Thursday at Pimlico. This filly, a 4-year-old daughter of Declaration of War, she's razor sharp right now. She's been running well against non-graded stake races. She ran a good 4th 3 starts ago in the Grade 3 at Churchill. She's live. The one's going to be tough to beat, but the 3, she's on the warpath, is going to be right there, I think.
Typically, she's closing from off the pace, and last time out at Ellis Park, the turf course was listed as soft, so I think that was part of the decision to put her in the race earlier, battled it around the track, and was simply 2nd best to English Affair, but I thought it was a huge effort. I mean, you see the buyer number actually ends up being her career best. She's very consistent, and there's going to be a rider change. Chantel Sutherland usually is aboard this filly, and I've seen interviews. Chantel adores this filly. So the rider change is a little bit different, but Steve Margolis, Gabriel Saez, they do quite well together, winning at 18%. So I'm not too concerned about the switch.
All right, so we both like a 1-3-8-4 here. The 8 for Rinka for Graham Motion. He puts the blinkers on this Go Sapper 4-year-old filly. Trevor McCarthy is going to ride. She's been running against strong company. Been a little cold this summer, this year. Been a little cold, 0 for 3 this summer, but she's been running in some top races. She puts the blinkers on. That could help quicken up her focus, and you get McCarthy here on the 8 for Rinka.
Just wondering if she needs a little bit more ground. I mean, she's always coming late. She hasn't missed the board this year, but she's never been beaten more than 3 lengths in those 3 starts. Even when she finished 11th, it was a compact field late. So that's why I think maybe you did too, Stan. We used her underneath on her tickets, just knowing that she sometimes has a little bit too much work to do late.
All right, and we both throw the 4 in the mix there. Nomo Lady, Mike Trombetto, R. Larry Johnson, Pimentel. They pulled off the upset a couple days ago in the very one with a great time. Nomo Lady, a nice Uncle Mo filly, a big second last out, coming off the little freshening in that stake at Laurel Park and the All Along.
Yeah, late last year, she's primary campaigned on the dirt at Laurel Park, but since switching to the turf, she's had 3 solid performances, never worse than second. And I thought the effort 2 back at Indiana Grand when she was second to She's on a Warpath would put her in the mix here.
All right, we have a lot of great stuff to show you this whole big show. Let's speed along here to race 3. We got to save time for the Black-Eyed Susan and the Preakness. Here we go, race 3, the Ski Pat going 6 furlongs for affiliate mares 3 and up. Let's show you the video spotlight here of the 5, Bye Bye Jay, and also Never Enough Time. Never Enough Time and Last True Love. They both come out of the Alma North. Never Enough Time won the Alma North at 5-1 with Pimentel aboard for Trombetta. Last True Love is going to rally for a good third. Shalon's in this video. Shalon is scratched from the ski pad, but Never Enough Time is in, and it's going to be a nice 3-4-1 price.
Yeah, big performance from her. I mean, Shalon was entered in here. Last True Love, beating horses in here says a lot, and I think she's really turned the corner as a 4-year-old. As a 3-year-old, she had a couple starts, 2 good ones, 2 so-so, and she seems to be getting better. And, I used her here for second, just thinking coming into this race off one of her better performances, she might be perfectly in form.
All right, you have the 4 on top here. Liza Starr for Peter Walter. Florent Giroux to ride this 6-year-old mare, and she's been right there her last 3 starts.
Yeah, she's missed the last 2. She's finished third in both of them, most recently beaten by a length at Gulfstream Park, and prior to that by a length and a half at Saratoga. But the thing I see here, Florent's going to climb aboard, and I really have a feeling that she's going to go towards the front, and he's the type of rider that can really get a horse to settle nicely, even if they have speed, and I think that's something that she needs, and if he can do that, he can kind of rein it in early to the fact that she might have enough late.
All right, so it could be a big day for the Frenchman, Florent Giroux. He's on a bunch of nice horses today. He's on one of the favorites here in the ski pad. This race on the dirt, and Giroux with a bunch of live mounts on the turf today as well. All right, so let's we both like a few of the same horses on top there in the ski pad. The middle pick 4 starts race 4, the $100,000 Hilltop for 3-year-old fillies going a flat mile on the yielding turf course. It might be drying out a little bit as we get towards the middle part of the day. We'll see what happens. Let's start with your top pick, the 7, Vigilante's Way for the Hall of Famer Shug McGahee. Homebred filly here for the Fit Stable by Medaglia de Oro. Forrest Boyce will ride. Boyce was aboard 2 starts ago. Coming off the layoff, let's show you what happened down there at Colonial late July against First Level Allowance Company. She marched right to the front this day, and she just absolutely gallops by 5.5. She comes back out of this race to win by 10 on the main track. So this is a nice, well-bred filly here for Hall of Famer, and Forrest Boyce is 2 for 2 on her.
You can barely see the runner-up on the screen kind of when we got halfway through that clip. It was just such an easy win for her. That stood out to me. And last time out, she did win on the dirt, and she did it impressively. Her buyer speed figure was much lower. It was 20 points lower. It was a 64. But I think now getting back onto the turf, her numbers are going to improve. I saw 9-2 morning line offering a little bit of value. I'd be really happy if Vigil's Way goes off at this price.
That'd be a nice price, so she'll be right there. I go with a hunch play here, the 6 Secret Time for Arnaud Delacour, German import. This is her first start here in the United States. She gets first-time Lasix. That's going to help. She gets Victor Carrasco. Now, Delacour had a German bred in yesterday that scratched in a race that came off the turf, but the horse had just come from Germany and won first time out here in America. So I like this filly. She ran a sneaky good race last out in a Group 2 over there in France at Chantilly. You see the comment line. She lacked room, but got off rail and ran on. She only got beat 3 lengths in that race. She was a big second against Group 3 company as a 2-year-old last September. So I think this is a well-bred filly who's been running against strong company over there, and she's going to run better today with first-time Lasix.
I like that you're picking a 10-1 shot on top. I mean, looking for value. And the interesting thing, and maybe I didn't look into this horse enough, but the stats that Arnaud Delacour has in general with everything that's going to be changing for this 3-year-old filly, he's 2 for 9 with the first start in North America, 35% with new acquisitions in the barn, and first-time Lasix, 20%. So the stats suggest this filly could have a big shot.
All right, so I'll go with the hunch play on top here. We both like the 7 Vigilante's Way, the 2 Chart for Mark Casse. Won last year's Preakness with War of Will. for Laurent Giroux on this filly by Lee, and she's won 2 in a row, including a grade 3 going a mile on the turf at Woodbine late August.
Yeah, she's won her last 2. She's won them both by narrow margins, which is why I used her for second. I think she's going to face more pressure here, and she kind of was able to hold her own last time out, but I'm not sure how strong the field was in the grade 3 Ontario Colleen, which is why I'm just going to endorse her underneath, because some of the runners in here have stronger numbers than her.
All right, now talk me into the 3 here. Caravel, Paco Lopez. You had Paco yesterday on Little Skiff, and he's on a nice price here for Lizzie Merriman. What a nice homebred this is. Lizzie, owner, breeder, trainer. She's won 3 in a row. She's 3 for 3. Turf, synthetic, doesn't matter. Nice homebred here for Lizzie Merriman.
The big question, I think, why you're seeing 12-1 is going to be the distance, but I liked that in all of these starts, she's done a little different thing each time. I mean, in her first start going 5 furlongs at Penn National, she closed from dead last to get the job done by a length and quarter. Big performance. I know that's going to be a different class test today, but then she won her next 2 races, and she's coming in here out of a stakes victory, probably her career best number. So it's hard for me to falter at this point, so I'm going to give her a shot on the big stage. She's going to have to improve, but her numbers still put her in the mix for the top 3.
All right, so a talented group of 3-year-old fillies here in the Hilltop. Take out the 9 and the 12, so still a big 11-horse field here in race 4, the Hilltop, to kick off the middle pick 4. Let's speed along here. Race 5's the grade 3 Miss Preakness for 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs on the main track. We have a video of the grade 3 Charlestown Oaks, who several fillies come out of. Fly on Angel won the race for Claudio. Wicked Whisper was second. Princess Katie was third, and Ankle Monitor was fourth. Here they are turning for home at this the 3-quarter oval at Charlestown out there in West Virginia. Fly on Angel, a sharp winner for Claudio, gets Angel Cruz today, but Wicked Whisper was right there, and so was Princess Katie, and Ankle Monitor got carried 8 wide on the turn. Ankle Monitor still a big 4th. Just got beat a length and a half. That's the other Claudio filly in the race, and you get a big 20-1 price here on the 6 Ankle Monitor. So I think the fillies coming out of that grade 3 race at Charlestown are going to have a big say here in the grade 3 Miss Preakness.
I can't agree with you more. I think it's going to be interesting to see them now cut back a little bit from the 7/8 distance to 6 furlongs. Flying Angel, those connections had a good day yesterday, and this one has won the last 2 races and stepped up. I mean, this horse was claimed 2 back for $50,000. Next time out, put her in a grade 3, and she wins. Now, she did it in gate-to-wire fashion. Kind of looking at others in here, it'll be interesting because I think, obviously, Monday Call, the morning line favorite, has speed, so this is going to get a little bit more pressure, but I think horses like the 2 Wicked Whisper are going to see this one closing, so it'll be interesting to see a lot of these horses square off again.
Yeah, we both go with the 7-5 favorite on top here. Mundane Call for Brad Cox, a well-bred 3-year-old filly by End to Mischief. She cost almost $1 million as a yearling up there at Saratoga. A big eye-popping win at Ellis Park early August. She won by over 7 that day, wire-to-wire, big 100-buyer speed figure. Maybe she bounced a little bit in that grade 2 at Churchill coming back in a month. She probably bounced there. It was a tough grade 2. She went to the front, just couldn't go all the way, going 7 furlongs. Now we're in a grade 3 today, cutting back to 6 furlongs. She's your deserved favorite. If she shows up, she'll be tough to beat.
Yeah, if she can replicate that performance 2 back, Stan, I think she's gone. You mentioned in the last race, the 8 Bells, the grade 2 level. She finished 4th, beaten by 5 lengths. Kind of looking at the pace, I mean, I think part of it is the half went so fast. I mean, they went 44 flat, and you mentioned the longer distance. Now on the cutback, I mean, I think she has to be the well-respected favorite, and I think when the gates open, I don't think we're going to get 7-5. I think she's going to be bet down from that morning line.
All right, so it could be a big day for Brad Cox and Florent Giroux. So the 5 Mundane Call, the favorite we both have on top in the grade 3 Miss Preakness. We've handicapped 5 stake races. We still have, 7 more stake races to go. The Preakness is race 11. Race 6 kicks off the pick 6. We'll check it all out right after this.
And they're off. She's second in the 2-path. Ground on her inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
All right, welcome back. Real nice carryover today in today's 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6. All stake races in the sequence. There's the number, over $32,000. It's a mandatory payout. day today. It's closing day here at Pimlico, so the pick 6 got to go, the late pick 5, the super high 5, mandatory payout. This pick 6 is going to be well played. Ashley, you have a ticket. Let's check it out, see how you play it.
Yeah, I go 3 deep here in the opener. I go to the 2, the 3, and the 7. I just thought this was a race to spread. The 7 factor this is the morning line favorite and does look tough coming out of a second place finish in the Grade 1 Turf Classic at Churchill Downs. Then in the next leg, I went 2 deep. I think Admiral Lynch coming out of a big race with a career best buyer is one to use, as well as the number 5, Landskog, who's going to get kind of jump up in class. We haven't seen this one since August, and then before that, September of last year. Then in the next leg, I go 2 deep again, and I did use the 1 pivotal mission for Graham Motion and Johnny V, but the 8 is the horse I like. This is the Irish-bred Hidden Enemy, 4-1 morning line. Is a maiden, but I really like this horse. Think we might see a big performance. Then in race 9, I go 3 deep in here. I think this is probably the best betting race besides maybe the Preakness, the James W. Murphy wide open event, so I wanted some coverage. Then in race 10, I go 2 deep. I do think the 5 Bounty South is the class of the field. If I was going for maybe an upset, I would go to the 8 Hopeful Growth. And then finally, the 145th Preakness, I went 4 deep. I think I have to use Art Collector, Authentic, and then my 2 price horses, the number 2, Mr. Big News, and the 10, Pneumatic.
I tell you what, Ashley, Mr. Big News, I've seen him have a couple very strong gallops this week here at Pimlico. He's a closer. He looks like he's just a dead stayer. He's not going to get tired. He's going to be coming late. Question is, will he have a fast pace to run into? So I like your ticket. Bonnie South in the Black Eyed Susan race 10. I made her my best bet of the day. However, I'm worried if it's a speed favoring track. She's a dead closer, so Bonnie South might be up against it. If there's no, if it's all speed, she's going to be coming from the back of the pack. So we'll see how the track's playing as we get closer to race 10. Here we go. Let's check out the first leg of this pick 6, the Grade 2 dinner party, formerly the Dixie Stakes, one of the oldest stake races here at the Maryland Jockey Club. It's one of the oldest stake races in the country. Top turf horses here in this Grade 2. A mile and a 16th. On a turf course rated yielding. These top turf horses, most of them love a yielding turf course. Let's take a look here at the 7 factor. This even money in this spot for trainer Brad Cox. Florent Giroux rides this 4-year-old stud colt by the factor. He's coming out of a Grade 1 at Churchill September 5th. Let's go to the videotape and check out factor this. He's in front by a length and a half, turning for home, going a mile and an 1/8 on the firm turf course. Just gets caught by Digital Age in the final strides, but a big effort. He gets a 104 Beyer speed figure in this Grade 1. Now he's in a Grade 2 here today. Probably going to march right to the front with the Frenchman. Factor this, been keeping strong company all year long. He's a nice 5-year-old. He's made over $1 million, a 9-time winner on the turf. So the favorite's going to be tough here in the Grade 2 dinner party.
Huge effort from him. I mean, he just missed by 3/4 of a length. And just looking at his record, I mean, he's an 11-time winner from 31 starts. But look at him this year. He's yet to miss the board. And if you're looking at his last 10 or 11 races, he only really has 1 bad race. And that was 51 weeks ago. So he's been on the top of his game all year long. And I think that's why he's the deserving morning line favorite.
The 2, Some Like It Hot Brown with your man Paco Lopez aboard for Mike Maker. Now this 4-year-old colt by Big Brown will get a ground-saving trip on the inside. Big effort at Saratoga late July in the Grade 2, and then that Grade 1 at Churchill. That was just too much for him. He didn't really, it was rank early, it was wide. It didn't go well for him in that Grade 1. But the 2, Some Like It Hot Brown, capable of much better, and we both use him in our top 3.
Yeah, he didn't get the same trip that he got in the Bernard Baruch 2 back. I mean, he was just kind of mid-back, and you said he just was not on his game that day. And I think looking at his other races, he's been quite consistent, and I was kind of curious. I think the mile and 16th distance is well suited for him. He just went slightly longer last time out. And 2 starts back, when he got to the front with Tyler Gaffleon, I mean, he was much the best. So I just thought for maybe a pace scenario, you see Paco, as you mentioned, is in the tack. What's Paco going to do? Is he going to go to the front in here? Because if he does, I think this horse is going to be in his best shot to possibly win.
Might set it up for a closer like the 3 Hembry. You get a top rider here, Daniel Centeno. He's one of our top local riders. He rides this 6-year-old. This guy, this horse, he's no stumble bum. He's made almost $700,000 on the turf. A big 3rd last out at Kentucky Downs in a big 10-horse field. So he's a closer. If there's a fast early pace, watch out for the 3 Hembry and Daniel Centeno.
And he's another one that seems to like moisture in the turf course. We're going to start the day as yielding. We'll see it when this race comes around, what it's listed as. But we've seen him second over a yielding turf course last year at Saratoga in the Forbidden Apple, and then 2 starts back over the soft going at Ellis Park. So that's why I actually kind of boosted him up on my ticket, just knowing that there was going to be moisture in the turf course. And like you've mentioned, he's going to be rallying from the back of the pack. So if the tempo ends up being honest enough, he's going to have enough to run at.
All right, so we both like a 7-2-3 on top here with the favorite, the 7 factor this on top here in the Grade 2 dinner party. Race 7 is going to kick off the late pick 5. It's the Grade 3 Frank J. DeFrancis Memorial Dash going 6 furlongs on the main track. No carryover in the late pick 5. My goodness, it paid $5,500 yesterday. I was going to maybe put a big ticket in, didn't get it in on time for race 7. Cost me a bunch of money, and you had the Ann Merriman long shot winner that Ashley gave out. So $5,500. Paid $9,000 2 days ago. Paid $5,500 yesterday. What's it going to pay today? Here's my ticket, $60 play. I'm 5 deep here in the Frank J. DeFrancis Memorial Dash. I'm looking for maybe a little price. The 4 Lakai. He's been right there his last couple races. He's been going to the front. I think Lakai might be a little bit better when he rallies from off the pace. Some of his best races, he stalked the early pace and then rallied into it. So maybe Horacio Caramanos lets the speed go in front of him and can rally with the 4 Lakai. He's a nice 6-1 here in the DeFrancis Dash. I go 5 deep in that race. Race 8, the Laurel Fraternity, 2 turns on the turf for the 2-year-olds. The One Pivotal Mission is going to be tough, but I go 4 deep in this race. Maybe I'll get a little price home here with the 8 Hidden Enemies, 4-1. The 7 Catman I have on my tickets, 8-1 for Mike Maker and Daniel Centeno. Race 9, the Jimmy Murphy going a mile on the turf for top 3-year-olds. The 10 Don Juan Kitten and the 13 Bye Bye Melvin. They ran 1-2 last out. Bye Bye Melvin with the winner in the Grade 3 Saranac. So I just use those 2. Race 10, the Grade 2 Black Eyed Susan going 9 furlongs on the main track. I key on the 7-5 favorite Bonnie South. She's my best bet today, but if there's a speed bias, that's not going to help this closer. So we'll see how the track's playing once we get to the Black Eyed Susan. If it's a fair track, then she'll be awfully tough to beat. So I key on the 5 Bonnie South. Race 11, the Preakness, the Grade 1 Preakness going a mile in a 3/16. I have Authentic on top. I've tried to change my mind 100 times this week with Art Collector looking so good, but Authentic, he's the here and now horse. He was a sharp winner in the Kentucky Derby. I've seen this movie before. Also, Johnny V got beat yesterday by a horse on the rail. I wonder if Authentic and Johnny V are going to gun to the lead coming out of the gate to get to that rail, because they're going to be worried about Swiss Skydiver and Art Collector trying to get there. So I use Art Collector, Swiss Skydiver as well on my late pick 5 ticket. Let's take a look here. Race 7, the Grade 3 DeFrancis Memorial Dash. It's been a Grade 1 in the past. It'll get back up there pretty soon. We both have the 1 Admiral Lynch on top, who's 7-2. The 5's the favorite here. Admiral Lynch, a big 104 buyer last out. Let's check out that race. Late July, Saratoga, 6.5, top level. 3rd level allowance company. Stalked the early pace, got to the front turning for home, and then draws off, wins by 4 with a lifetime best number, 104 buyer speed figure. So I think Makers figured this 4-year-old colt by Super Saver out. Admiral Lynch going in the right direction. He's been working well since this big win at Saratoga.
It looked like for a minute he was kind of lugging out a little bit, but when Rod really kind of asked him to go and just showed him the whip 1 or 2 times, he was able to just advance and move up, and that's why the performance was so impressive, because he was simply much the best in the end. So for me, when I was kind of price shopping, 7-2, I'd love to get that price. I don't know if we will, but I was trying to beat the favorite in here with a horse that I just think is coming into this race off of 3 strong races back-to-back, with each one being a little bit better.
All right, so the favorite in here, scratch the 6 and the 7. The 7 was Stan the Man. He had a shot. But the 5, Landeskog, your favorite here for Brad Cox. Giroux on this horse. A big effort last September when he was a 3-year-old. 108 buyer in the Grade 2, Gallant Bob at Parks. Then comes off the long layoff. Early August at Ellis, a big win against Allowance Company, facing older horses with a 96 buyer speed figure. So Brad Cox has a nice 4-year-old son of Munnings here with Landeskog, the favorite in the Grade 3 DeFrancis Dash.
Yeah, the Gallant Bob was a big performance. He just kind of tired a little bit in there and was simply second best again. But I think with him, he's only going to have a second race of 2020. He started with his first race being pretty big, and you saw the runner-up. Rubus came back to win next time out. So, yeah, he's rightfully, belongs in this race, and it's a good test for him. I just have a little bit more confidence in Admiral Lynch coming off such a big performance against what I think was better competition than that race at Ellis Park.
All right, and see if Daniel Centeno can get right to the front on that rail with Admiral Lynch. We both have on top. All right, we like the same 4 horses there in the Grade 3 to Francis Memorial Dash to kick off that late pick 5. Let's turn the page to the historic running of the Laurel Fraternity Race 8. This race has been won by horses like Secretariat and a bunch of other great horses. We're going a mile and a 16th here on the turf. I have the 1 Pivotal Mission on top, so do you. But let's start with the 8, Hidden Enemies by the world's leading sire, Galileo. Galileo's like hotter than End of Mischief, and he's real hot. Joe Bravo rides this horse for Steve Asmussen. He's a maiden. That's okay. He's been running against top maiden special weight company at Saratoga. Let's check out his last race early September at the Spa, going a mile and a 16th on the turf. He's right there turning for home. He's going to finish a big second with a 76 buyer. So look, he has 2 route races under his belt now. So there's a nice foundation for this well-bred colt. You get Jersey Bravo. Hidden Enemy, I think, is going to be right there.
Yeah, and I'm hoping this horse does go off around 4-1 because that's a great price on him. He's just gotten better. He's learned a little bit, in both of his starts, and I think, Steve Asmussen does so well with 2-year-olds. And on the turf, he's a little less in the percentage. He's about 16%, but I think this one is just developing and figuring it out, and if this one can shine today, it's going to offer more value than the morning line favorite.
Johnny V is going to get a nice ground-saving trip here on our top pick, the 1 Pivotal Mission. Gets blinkers on today for Graham Motion. Just got beat last out against Stakes Company at Kentucky Downs. So this one, 3 route races under his belt. Now he gets blinkers on. Pivotal Mission going to be awfully tough to beat here in the Laurel Fraternity.
Graham does so well at this angle, first time blinkers on, and I think for this horse having the rail, it'll be interesting to see how forwardly placed he is in the race. 2 starts back, he was just off the pace, and it was another race where he just missed by a narrow margin. He missed by 3/4 of a length. Stan, you mentioned last time out at Kentucky Downs against a good group, missed by half a length. So I think this horse is going to be tough, but we mentioned if you're looking elsewhere, maybe the 8's live.
All right, so let's get a cold 1-8 exacta home here in the Laurel Fraternity. Race 8 kicks off the late pick 4. Let's take a look here. Race 9, the Jimmy Murphy for top 3-year-olds going a mile on the turf. I have Motion on top here with the 13 on the outside. Bye Melvin with Johnny V in the saddle. Well-bred 3-year-old colt by Uncle Mo. He comes out of the Grade 3 Saranac where he just beat Don Juan Kitten. Let's check out that race. Late August, going a mile on a soft turf course at Saratoga. So that's kind of like today. So both Bye Melvin and Don Juan Kitten have proven they can get over a turf course with a little give in the ground. The Kitten's in front, but here comes Melvin's going to get up at 19-1 to win by a head in the Saranac.
We're not going to get that price today, Stan, but I have to agree. I mean, kind of looking at the Saranac, I think it is a key race just because of the moisture in the turf course. And the horses that were forwardly placed, Bye Melvin just stalked early on, and Don Juan Kent was the pace setter. I think that's why they're both going to be very respected in this spot, and Johnny V's climbing back aboard. I just think there's a lot to like about Graham Motion on the turf, especially with this runner, showing that he might have needed a couple of races to get into form, but he's coming in here fresh off the win.
All right, good stuff. So a cold 13-10 exact on top here in the Jimmy Murphy. All right, let's get to the first real big feature. We got 12 big features today. But race 10 is the big feature for the best 3-year-old fillies in the world. The Grade 2 Black-Eyed Susan, 250,000, going 9 furlongs on the main track. Will there be a speed bias? Will that compromise the 7-5 favorite Bonnie South? Well, we'll see. She is a Grade 2 winner. Let's check out the race from last March down there in New Orleans at the fairgrounds, the Grade 2 Fairground Oaks. She's right there, turnover home with Florent Giroux wide. Here's Bonnie South in the Grade 2 Fairground Oaks. She's second, and she makes a big surge to win this race. She ends up winning by 2 with an 85 buyer speed figure. So Brad Cox had this daughter of Munning. She's a homebred for Juddmonte Farm. All they do is breed world-class horses. So she was very sharp last March. And then the shutdown. And then she came back after the shutdown with 2 real tough Grade 1 assignments. Oh, my goodness. The Keeneland race, the Grade 1 Ashland. Well, she probably needed a race. It was a Grade 1, and that's why she was 10-1 in the Grade 1 Alabama. We're going to show the Alabama, but real quick, your thoughts on that big win in the Grade 2 Fairground Oaks for Bonnie South.
She was dead last at one point, and Florent gave her a beautiful trip and got up in time and drew clear. I mean, I think if she can replicate that performance, she'll be tough in this spot. I mean, even last time out in the Alabama, she was second to Swiss Skydiver. And in this race, you're not getting the Swiss Skydivers, the Gamines, the She Dares the Devil. So she's getting, in some sense, that class relief. And I think on this stage, she's the one that's going to shine.
Well, let's show you that race at Saratoga, the historic Grade 1 Alabama. She was 10-1 in this race. She's far back. Swiss Skydiver's in front. Swiss Skydiver, she's going to be one of the favorites in the Preakness this day. So you're right there. I don't think there's any Swiss Sky. It's a nice field, but I don't think there's any Swiss Skydivers in here. Bonnie South, though, she still has to surge late here to get up for second. And you see here, watch at the wire, the Swiss wins easy, but Bonnie South, she's still running there at the end. So she's a dead closer. She should love the 9 furlongs today. If there is a fast early pace, that'll be beautiful for the 5 Bonnie South. Look, a homebred for Juddmonte Farm. She's out of a Tappet mare. Now the dam was 0 for 3, but she was all turf. There's an older sibling that won a couple times, made over 100,000. And Juddmonte Farms, they must like Bonnie South so much that they bred this mare back to Munning. So Bonnie South has a young 2-year-old full sister. So we have that to look forward to. Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, last time out, you can't take anything away from her trying to close from off the pace and get the job done. And Swiss Skydiver got to the front, and you saw how effortless it was for Swiss Skydiver, which I think bodes well for her later on the program today in the Preakness, and that's why they're going to have her face the boys again. But to me, Bonnie South in that Grade 1 performances, and even finishing 4th in the Ashland first time off the layoff, she has to be well respected.
Ashley, I know you like to make money. You're a sharp handicapper. You had a big price yesterday. If it's all speed today, do you change your pick in the Grade 2 Black-Eyed Susan?
I don't know, Stan. Every time I do that and go against my gut, it usually doesn't work out. So I'm going to go with my gut from the get-go. I'm still going to think Bonnie South is going to be the winner.
Me too. I agree with you. I saw her on the track Wednesday morning, and she was looking like $1 million. So, all right, we both have the 5 Bonnie South on top. Now, the 9 Miss Marissa and Centeno, they're going to try to steal it early, right? That was a big win last out at Saratoga, 9 furlongs against older fillies, 2 other than. She went right to the front with a big 91 Beyer speed figure. So, you know Centeno, if there is a speed favoring track, Centeno will try to take advantage of that.
She's another one that probably needed a race off that freshening after not racing from February and then showed up a couple months later in June. So I kind of drew a line through that. And then, 2 big wins, and especially most recently. I mean, the race at Monmouth was softer. Then at Saratoga really stepped up, going a 1 1/8. And you said it perfectly. This one is going to be forwardly placed, and this will have a lot to do with kind of the outcome and the result of the race, just seeing how quick she goes or if she can get the tempo to be her liking.
All right, let's see if we can get the favorite home. Bonnie South, she's a nice filly. We'll see if she can answer the test today in the Grade 2 Black-Eyed Susan. Let's take a look at one of the biggest 3-year-old races of the year, the Grade 1 Preakness, $1 million for the best 3-year-olds in the world, going a mile and a 3/16. Here's the current odds, all right? Now, Authentic, he's your 9-5 morning line favored. Right now, he's at 6-5. Art Collector's 7-2. That's how they are in the morning line. Now, yesterday, all the early money went to Art Collector. He opened up 4-5. But I think when it comes to post time, Authentic's going to be your favorite, about 8-9-5. I think, Ashley.
Yeah, I think so. And we said this. We knew Authentic was going to be kind of switching the odds up here, and with even just a little bit more money in the pool, we've seen that. And once there's a lot of money in the pool, I think it's going to become more defined than it is now. But you see some other horses, their odds have changed drastically. Pneumatic, 20-1 morning line, now down to 11-1. Some others have floated up, especially Swiss Skydiver.
All right, good stuff. Well, let's check out Authentic's big win in the Kentucky Derby early September. Now, let's not forget. Let's check out the Derby. Let's not forget, Authentic's in front, Turner for home. Here they are around the far turn, and you have Authentic in this race, Mr. Big News, and also Max Player. Now, here they are, Turner for home. Here comes Tiz the Law, who might be horse of the year this year. Looks like Tiz the Law might even get ahead in front right here. But look at the Hall of Famer, Johnny V and Authentic down there on the inside, just dead game. They get to the lead now, and the other Tiz the Law keeps coming. Tiz the Law made 2 or 3 tries to get by. Look, if Tiz the Law wins the Breeders' Cup Classic, he's going to be horse of the year, Ashley, no question about it. So Authentic beat one of the best horses in the world last out in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, Tiz the Law just didn't have the same late kick that we've seen in his other races, the Travers and the Belmont, where he poured it on late. And the trip that Authentic got from Johnny V was beautiful. It was perfect. He put his horse in the race early on from that outside post, which was slightly moved in due to the scratches, but took him gate to wire in the Derby, which says a lot. And here you have to think he's going to go right from the get-go.
Now that's the question. He does have early speed. There's some speed to his inside. If it's a speed favoring track and the rail looks good, you think Johnny V guns out Authentic and gets to the rail, because he's going to have to work for it going into that clubhouse turn, because you have Art Collector and Swiss Skydiver in 1,000 words with speed to his inside.
Yeah, there is a lot of speed. I just can't imagine Authentic coming from very far back,
Right.
so I think he's going to get in a good position early on. I don't know if he's going to be able to get out front and right to the rail, but Johnny's going to figure that out quite quickly depending on what the horses do to his inside.
Well, you know it's going to be in the back of Johnny V's mind, and that was a tough beat yesterday on the favorite in the Grade 3 Pimlico Special, and he got beat by a horse that went to the rail and led wire to wire. So that's probably going to be irking him all day today. I'm sure Johnny V is going to have a close watch on the track and how it's playing out all day long. Let's check out the second choice here, Art Collector. Let's check out his big win in the Grade 2 Bluegrass at Keeneland back in July. He beats Swiss Skydiver in this race, who would come back to win. He beats Rushy in this race, who would come back to win. Big 103 buyer, lifetime best in the Bluegrass for Art Collector.
Now, he's made the lead in 2 of his last 3. He doesn't need the lead. He didn't have it from the get-go in this race at Keeneland, but when he poured it on late, again, much the best, and he's just gotten better and better with each start this year. And you kind of look at him last year, he didn't really stand out on the way to the Kentucky Derby Trail or the Triple Crown in general, but now he's been the hype horse. He did have that minor setback leading up to the Derby, but he seems to be good, and he's had extra weeks in between the Derby and the Preakness. So from what I've seen on the track, he looks like he has a big shot.
The last filly to win the Preakness was the champion Rachel Alexander in 2009. Swiss Skydiver trying to do it for Kenny McPeak and owner Peter Callahan. You get Robbie Alvarado, who's been in town all week, getting on this Grade 1 winning filly in the mornings. I have her in my top 3. You leave the filly out of your picks. Your thoughts here on Swiss Skydiver?
No, I liked her performance in the Bluegrass right behind Art Collector. And last time out in the Kentucky Oaks, for me, I was thinking the upset would be Sheeter's the Devil if anyone was going to get it. And, she hasn't done anything wrong. I just think these other 2 kind of stand out. And from a price perspective, I was looking for a horse that was stronger than 6-1 on the morning line, because I was worried that if she stayed around that price that we might kind of have 3 chalks. I'm always searching for value, Stan.
Absolutely. Well, you'll get a price with the 10 Pneumatic, who's looked well this morning, all week long here at Pimlico. 3-year-old colt by Uncle Mo for Steve Asmussen. Asmussen with 3 horses in this year's Preakness. Joe Bravo rides Pneumatic, a recent stakes winner, last out up at Monmouth.
20-1 morning line. Last time we showed the current odds 11-1. I just think simply he's getting good at the right time. He stepped up. He was 4th to Tis the Law in the Belmont, but last time out, a huge performance at Monmouth Park. And we'll see what Joe ends up doing. Probably going to sit right off the pace, I think, because that trip panned out beautifully last time out. But as far as value, this is going to be my horse.
All right, now the Preakness Race 11 is the final leg of the late pick 5 and the Rainbow pick 6. Also race 11, the Preakness. It'll be a mandatory payout in the Super High 5 in race 11 today. So we both have the favorite Authentic on top. We both like Art Collector. We both like Pneumatic. Good luck today on all your Preakness wagers. Ashley, I hope you make some money. There's still one more stake race to go, race 12. It's a Grade 1. Grade 1 for the Arabians, the UAE President Cup. It's a $100,000 race going a mile and a 16th. I go with the 7 on top. Quicksand AA for trainer Jeranesto Torres. Kaibar Koa rides a 7-year-old stud horse. A big win against Grade 1 company last out up at Delaware, Ashley.
Yeah, that was going a mile and a quarter, like you said. Easy win in the end was much the best, and this is a horse that I used underneath. 4 for 5 at this distance, 4 for 4 in the money this year. It's kind of interesting to handicap Arabian, Stan. I don't know if this is going to be my strong suit, but we'll find out in a little bit.
You're a sharp handicapper. You'll figure him out. It's all good. Just send it in. Just keep punching on your Express Bet app. All right, that's it. We're out of time. Good luck on your pick 6 today, Ashley. Remember, it's a mandatory payout on the pick 6, the late pick 5, the super high 5's a mandatory payout in both races 11 and 12 today. That's it. We're out of time. Main track is fast. The turf is yielding to kick off today. We'll keep you updated on any track changes we get. Good luck, Ashley. We'll see you in a little bit. Dave Rodman's coming up after the national anthem. Dave Rodman will be coming up with scratches and changes. We're 33 minutes out for race 1 on Preakness 145 Day. Good luck.